to do because I'm not faffing around this morning, guys. Sorry about the wet hair. Today then is going to be quite a lot of YouTube based stuff because it's just been really difficult to know quite what to do in these last 3 days of vlogging. One of the things I've decided is that I am going to vlog the full 14 days, even though we kind of know I'm highly likely to get that £500 now. And also highly likely to make some inroads into the other things that I talked about in yesterday's vlog. So if you haven't seen that, go back one and catch yourselves up. So I now want to spend the rest of the month. Yeah, no, it is the rest of the month, isn't it? It's not just my challenge, there's the calendar month as well. So yeah, I do want to spend my final 3 work days of the month doing some things towards money that can come in this month, but actually I also now want to kind of go back to some things that are building my business in the future. Now I have kept an eye on those things. I've sorted out those 2 affiliate programs which I have been accepted for, and obviously these vlogs will contribute in some way to building the channel, building connections with people, and you know, a bit of money that will come in April. And I did manage to upload 1 KDP book as well, which hopefully will sell at some point. It hasn't done yet, but it will contribute to my income and that particular business in the future. So I have kept an eye on those things, and I've done a few things for the future, but I mostly have focused on things for this month, for bringing in money this month. But what I want to do today is, this is my last day of working from home by myself, so my other half isn't here, and that means that it's a good day to get filming done, because there's less toing and froing in terms of who's using what space in the house to do what thing and so on. I can sit down wherever I like for as long as I like, and I'm sort of more in control of the whole filming situation. So I think that today is going to be a good day to focus on video creation, as well as continuing to vlog for the stuff that's going out this month. So this morning I put out, I think it was days 8 and 9, I think, went out this morning. So today's Wednesday, and that something's on this morning, because I've started getting like comments through again to respond to. Thank you very much for those. They are very lovely, and as I've said in previous videos, I very occasionally will catch them as they come in, but for the most part I'm leaving them and setting aside a set period of time to sit and get those answered. So yeah, today is a filming day, and I've got my trusty cup of tea to get me kick-started. And what I want to concentrate on for today is getting the tomato seed sowing video started for my other channel, my home and garden channel. And because the beginning part of that I can film inside, so it's dark and rainy and horrible today, so I can't do the outdoor filming, but there is a bit of time tomorrow when I can do the outdoor filming part of that video. So I kind of want to do the prep and the first bit of filming for that video. Is my neighbour banging stuff around again? I don't think it's loud enough to pick up on camera, but it just sounds like someone's dropping lead weights on the floor constantly. I don't know what they're doing. So my second video that I want to film is a business and financial goals for April video, which again, I just want to sit here in a minute and just sort of hash out what those things are going to be, what actually are my goals, because I feel like I haven't given myself much chance to think this month. There's been a lot of just doing and like staying on top of things and so on. So a good bit of thought to go into that, and then I can sit down and film it, and if I want to create any graphics for it I can do that today as well. I am still intending to do the scrapbook Q&A, but what I want to do first is to send away for a couple of proof copies of something of a scrapbook paper book. So I can show people on screen the paper. I can show them the standard colour. I want to show them the premium colour, the thickness of the paper. I want to show a matte cover versus a glossy cover so that people can kind of make decisions for their scrapbook paper books or kind of decorative paper books in an informed way. So it means that I have got to create a book and kind of get it through to the almost completed stage, order a proof copy of things one way, wait for that to arrive, then go back in and change everything and order a proof copy of how it looks with like a different paper, a different ink and so on. I know what I mean. I don't think I'm explaining it very well at all, but I know what I mean. I want to have a sample scrapbook paper book that isn't part of like my pen name that I have on there, my brand that I'm creating, because I don't necessarily want people to find that. It's one of those things where like it's not like massive secret squirrel. It's just I'm not advertising it. I'm not encouraging people to go and find it just because people copy. I mean, it's as simple as that. And I understand people copy because they're desperate, because they want to make money themselves, and you lose all sense of morality. I get it. But yeah, I don't necessarily want people to do that. I want to minimize people doing it. So what I can do today is I can get that scrapbook paper book finished, and I can probably order the proof. I think I've got enough in that little business buffer that I talked about leaving myself. I think I've got enough where I can just order a proof copy of that and start the process of getting that video together, and also going back through the comments under that video that was about scrapbook paper and making a list of all the questions that people have got, and almost like pulling together the framework for that video. And there was something else. I need to go back into my notebook. I had, I think, at least one or two other relatively straightforward ideas for videos for April. Plus, I think I'm going to start doing my KDP income reports monthly. So this first one for 2023, I'll do like the first quarter. And then I think from here on in, I'll probably do one a month, just because there's a little bit more to report back now. I'm not making loads of money, but there are signs of growth. And I think before, like last year, there weren't really any. Everything kind of stagnated for a good many months. But now there's signs of growth. I feel like I can report back every month, and it could be quite interesting. If I don't like it, if it gets on my nerves having to record, you know, an income video every single month, then I just won't do it. I will stop and I'll go back to doing it quarterly. So yeah, there's a lot of thinking today. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to film and how much I'm going to be able to film, because obviously I film the videos on the phone that I film this on for you guys. But if today's very, very short, then I'll just do what I normally do, and I'll kind of run it in with another day so that you have 2 days together if this one happens to be particularly short. But that is the plan. Okay, I've done my thinking and my prepping and planning, and I feel a bit out of it, like I need to wake up properly from doing that. It was nice to have a little quiet activity with a cup of hot tea, curl up on the sofa, get all my notes down. I've created a little spreadsheet so that I can record my quarterly and monthly goals and things on it. It's just very simple, but I kind of had to concentrate on doing it because it's been a while since I've set up a spreadsheet. Yeah, kind of did all of those things, thought long and hard about what it is that I want to achieve in Q2 and in April. And I feel ready, I think, to sit down and record the video. Before I do that though, I need to wake myself up. So I'm going to go for a little trot, little walk, and drop off some parcels and things again, because I did a bit of extra dispatch yesterday because I had that big order that I wanted to get sorted. And I'm going to listen to a podcast or something, and yeah, just kind of freshen myself up, because whenever I do it, I always feel, at the moment, I feel quite reluctant to go, but also it's quite cold. It's not meant to be, it's meant to have warmed up today, but it feels quite cold. But I'm reluctant to go outside into the cold, gloomy weather. But I know that I will feel so much better when I get back, even if I just go for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, doesn't really matter. It's the habit that I want to get back into, and it's just the fresh air and the daylight, and it helps me sleep and just lots of good things. So I will disappear off and go and do that. And I've already set out on the kitchen worktop what I'm having for my lunch, and I'll show you that when I get back. Okay, so it's wild. Mel is back again from actually what turned out to be about an hour-long walk. I put a 40-minute podcast on, I think it was, and it finished and another one started, and I just kept going because I really just knew that I needed it. And again, I've come back from that walk feeling so much better, and I'm about to put my lunch together, so I will show you what I'm having. Okay then guys, we're back. I'm back. This thing's happening. This vlog is happening. I didn't think it was going to at one point because I just went completely off piste and decided to do a bit of baking. So I've made myself some little, what are they called? Queen cakes. So it's basically a fairy cake with some sultanas in it. So I have a cake. And I'm not very good at baking, but I really tried to follow the recipe, and they look all right. They look okay. And then I've got my cup of tea. So today has been, and today's not over. I have still got time to do some more stuff. But yes, today has consisted of some baking randomly, unloading and reloading the dishwasher and sticking that on, because obviously I made so much washing up, just so much mess trying to get this baking right. I have planned out my goals for April video, which I am about to start recording. I kind of created like a little spreadsheet for it, so that's all prepped and done. I think I've already told you this. I am like a bit of a space cadet today. I cannot remember what I've said to you, what I haven't said to you. I've taken quite a big sort of break in the middle, going, you know, walking for an hour, and then had my lunch, then did the baking. So like the whole of the middle of my day has not been particularly constructive. But I have recorded the intro about tomatoes for the video on my other channel. I have told people what tomatoes I'm sowing, so that's done. And I am about to record the goals video, and then when I've done that, I'm going to sit down and do a bit of editing, I think, and try and get on top of whatever the next kind of set of vlogs is for you guys to see from this challenge, and then maybe get the goals video edited as well, and kind of try and stay on top of that, get some thumbnails sorted. And yeah, really just it's been a bit of a mixed bag, partly because it feels a little bit odd having almost like completed the challenge early. I think I said that this morning. So I'm trying to get my head into gear, because I've got 2 more full days of work to go, where I'd really like to achieve something. I'd like to, you know, go above and beyond what it was that I set out for myself for this month, which, you know, that would just be fantastic. I just need to get my head together, but I'm still doing stuff. This is the thing, that even though I've taken a bit of time out, I've done some relaxing activities like walking, and well, baking isn't particularly relaxing for me because I'm not very good at it, but just some activities that have been a bit more based around me and my well-being. And you know, I have still got some stuff done. It just hasn't been quite as full on as previous days. So it's just been a day where I can kind of breathe, and you know, I've got some more household jobs and things that I want to get done as well. and that's kind of okay. So, you know, I'm sitting here and I'm going to have my cup of tea, I'm going to have my cake, and because it's about 3:30, this is my little afternoon tea time. So I'm going to do that, and yeah, then just get this goals video done. And I really wish that I had more interesting things to feed back to you today, but this is just the reality of it for me today. Not got a lot to record. Also haven't got as much to say as usual either. I'm feeling a bit quiet, that's all. So I'm gonna go and record this video. You might not see me again. If you don't, thank you for watching the vlog. If you do, this will sound weird and I will pop back up again any moment. Who knows what's gonna happen. Okay then, guys. Oh, let's get going. We've only got, I think, 2 more days to go. Right, welcome back everyone. Welcome back to my 14-day challenge to try and make sure that I pay my bills in March with money that I've made online. And do you know what? I'm not sure I can remember what day this is. I think it's day 13 because I think I've only got tomorrow left as a work day in March. So we'll say day 13, and I will put a correction on screen if I've got that wrong. You guys are probably keeping track of this far better than I am. Anyway, yesterday was not great in terms of productivity. I did a few bits, but I think I was mainly just thinking and planning and things for April, which is important, so I'm not knocking it. I know that I'm not going to have a lot of footage for yesterday, but that's fine because I can just run some days together in some videos. Today though, I have a small plan, a short planlet, if you will, and it consists of this. Tomato video needs to be filmed, so all of the outdoor stuff that I wasn't able to do yesterday, and then I'm also going to check the footage of what I recorded yesterday indoors because it was so dark and my camera, or the camera on my phone, struggles when there's very low lighting. So I'm going to check to see if that footage is any good. If it isn't, then I will just refilm the whole thing outside. In fact, that might be a better idea to do anyway. So whatever happens, tomato video for the gardening channel will be completed. And then I've got on here to edit the next vlog, so days 10 and 11, so that can go out tomorrow. And then take recycling out is my household job for today because it is collected very early tomorrow morning. And that's all I've put on there for today. And I have got to do some financial jiggery pokery just to make sure that everything's in the right place. But I think, I know we've done it. But I'm going to show you the details of the fact that we've done it, and also show you how far into that kind of bonus target that I set myself, how far into that we have got. So yeah, that's the plan for today. Okay guys, so I am set up to film my tomato video, and what I'm going to do is, because it's quite loud out here, because of the traffic and the trains and stuff, I think I'm probably going to do a voiceover for this video. So all I need to do is attach my phone here and make sure that it covers like most of the table, and then I can get sewing and chat to people over the top of it. And I've got my trusty cup of tea, of course, and I'm trying not to look at the absolute state of my back garden. Let's just concentrate on the tomatoes for now. So this is definitely the life. This is one of the perks of being self-employed. So it's a little bit windy out here, but it's sunny and it's warm. And I have sown seeds for my tomato video. I've also sown some seeds for a cottage garden video. I'm going to start a cottage garden rescue series on my other channel because I think that'll be fun, and I think it will keep me focused on, you know, getting on with the 1,000,001 jobs that I've got to do in the cottage garden. I've also just sown some seeds for myself as well. I've got my broad beans in, which I'm very happy about. And yeah, it's 11:30. I've just realised I don't think I've eaten anything today that I remember. So I'm going to go in and have a kind of brunch, I think, and yeah, then just kind of reevaluate where we've got to. Okay then, gang, don't look at the mess that is my kitchen. We are back indoors again, and I had to run in just at the end of filming because it started peeing it down with rain, but the sun has come out again now. However, there is just detritus everywhere from the gardening, from preparing my lunch, which I will show you somewhere in a corner here. And there's all the recycling that needs to go out that I still haven't got around to doing, and it's just, it's horrific. It's really horrific. So I am going to spend the next hour, I think, just doing some sorting, some tidying. I've got to label my seeds and pots and trays and things, just blitz everything and get the place sorted. And I'm not going to film that because I'm not a clean with me kind of gal. This is not going to be a clean with me kind of channel. So I'm just going to get on with it basically, and we will speak again soon when it's done. Again, I have picked the wrong place to sit and do some filming because, I mean, look at that. Should always have the light in front of me, not behind me. But anyway, I thought I'd give you a quick catch up on where we have got to. So I have done some tidying and some sorting in the kitchen. The recycling has gone out into the recycling bins, which is one of the things that I wanted that's on my list. And I've taken some out the front that's being collected tomorrow morning. And I've got some things soaking in the kitchen sink that need a proper clean. And I have labelled almost all of my seeds that I've sown, but I have run out of labels. And I also need to check some photographs that I took so that I can remember where each thing goes. That makes sense. And then all that leaves me with then is to edit your vlog for tomorrow morning. So hello everyone, and welcome back to day 13, which I'm going to have to confess now is the last day of the challenge. Somewhere along the line, when I was counting up how many work days I had left in March, I miscounted. I think what probably happened is that as I was going through my diary and kind of counting up those days that I was off doing something or I was away, counting up the days that I had left in order to get my work done, I think there was probably something that just wasn't in my diary when I did the counting, and just it was like a date or a commitment that I just held in my head because, yeah, we're a day short. But luckily, as you will know from sort of previous vlogs, we ended up not quite needing that 14th day anyway to kind of get things up to where they should be. And in fact, we're now in I keep saying we, it feels like it's we because of all the videos and stuff. I feel like I've had you with me. But so I am in a position where I have definitely covered all of my bills. And what I've also done, okay, but let's start with something else. The first thing I regret is I haven't kept a particularly strict note of all the money, like exactly where it's come from and exactly what I've done with it. I feel like that would have been a really interesting thing to do. So if I'm ever in this position again, or even if I just kind of decide to give myself a challenge, like maybe for a week, where I record where all of my income's coming from or something like that, I will keep much more meticulous notes. I've got like scrappy calculations on like in a notebook and things like that, and I wish I'd kept them better. But I can tell you that I think in yesterday's vlog we paid off, was it we again? I paid off I paid off everything that I owed to the joint account towards the bills. At some point this week I also had enough, and I think it was when that big chunk of money came in from eBay, and I think I told you I'd paid £206 off the amount owed to the bills account. What I didn't say is that I also paid £50 towards like April's food shop. So I've actually covered March bills and I've paid 50 quid towards April bills. So I've done that, and then kept a bit back in the business account because, again, I feel like I'm repeating myself, so I can't remember. Because I'm one of these people, like, I talk out loud when I'm walking around my house and I have stuff going on in my head and I just say things out loud. And sometimes I think I've vlogged it and I actually haven't. And then other times I don't think I've vlogged it and I actually have. So forgive me if I'm repeating myself. But I've kept a bit of business, like money back in the business account to cover packaging, but there's also 2 things that I need to buy. I need to buy some more like little plastic bags that I mainly use for delicate jewellery. I'm not a huge fan of plastic, but if I've got earrings, I want to keep them together in a little bag. And then if I've got something that's a bit delicate and I don't want it knocking or getting tangled with anything else, I put that in a bag. So you'll notice if you looked in my jewellery boxes, which you've probably seen in previous vlogs, you'll see that some of the jewellery is kind of open and isn't in a little plastic bag, and then other bits are. So I definitely need some more of those, and at some point, and please remind me, and I need to look into a better for the environment option for those little bags, but also one that isn't excruciatingly expensive, because, you know, there are enough business expenses associated, certainly with selling on eBay with all the fees and everything, and just packaging in general. And it needs to be something that's not too expensive. So if you are a reseller, or not even a reseller, if you sell products online and you know of a good alternative to those little plastic bags that isn't ridiculously expensive, I mean, I don't mind paying a little bit more, but not like double the price for the same amount, then please do let me know in the comments, because that is something I want to do moving forward. Anyway, back to the point I was making. I need to buy some of those, and I need to buy a couple of sample scrapbooks for the scrapbook Q&A video that I want to make in April. So that money is kept aside in the business account. Now, if I'd needed it to pay my bills, I just would have kind of scrapped those and made done with what I've got, or with not doing it. So that would have been a bit more in the pot, but I figure that those are 2 sensible business purchases. So that money's safely in there. And then I have got some more money in like my current account that's come in from this week. And because it wasn't just that big order that I had lots of other like smaller orders as well, and I've just had another one this morning, so there's still like even more money coming in, which is just brilliant. So one of the things that I did this morning is I ordered the mushroom kit for my dad's Christmas present. That was a bit more expensive than I remembered, because it was £22 and then the postage was £6. They're using DPD, presumably that's who they find reliable for their sort of bigger items, and it is quite a big, it's a big pack that you get for it. But I thought, he's waited long enough, he deserves it. I used to spend more than that on him, and I have the money to do this, so I've done it. So that's been paid for, and then there's a bit more money left over that I'm going to talk about in a minute, because this is what I'm aiming to do in this video. I've already been talking to you for like 6.5 minutes and I haven't even got to what I'm doing in this video. It's just stream of consciousness, I think, between you and I. I've told you about, I've had to make a list of things that I don't want to forget to mention or to do in this last final video. So I've mentioned that I've miscalculated my days, check. The other thing I'm going to do is I have released my buy me a coffee money that's come in over the course of this challenge, and I'm very excited to actually sort of budget it all out and like manage it and organize it and decide what I'm going to spend various things on. So I'm going to do that in this video, and then I'm also going to sort of budget any other money that's come in as well, because I think I might be able to get my mum's Christmas present too, which is very exciting. And yeah, then this is what we're going to do. So we are then going to go shopping together, because I know that some of my buy me a coffee money, I've got a couple of really important garden bits that I want to get with it, And I thought while I'm out and about, I might be able to pick up some bits for my mum's Christmas present. And like I said, I think it's just going to be like a little odds and sods thing. She does a lot of sewing, so I thought I might try and find maybe some fabric or something connected to that hobby maybe. What else does she like? Oh, there's the multi-pack of socks. They're just from Asda. Like, I can go and get her the multi-pack of socks if they still do them from Asda. And I think they were only like £6 or something, so I can get those. Anyway, I digress. We'll sort that all out later. So we're going to spend a bit of money together. And then the other thing that I really, really want to spend some of this buy me a coffee money on, because it is something that I've wanted to do and I've spoken about for ages, is I am going to go and find out what it's like to work in a coffee shop. Now, I have got to sit down and work out what kind of work I can do in a coffee shop, because I'll have my phone and I'll have my iPad. I'm not going to take the laptop. The laptop in this house is technically my other half's, and it's, you know, it's an expensive piece of kit, and I almost I don't trust myself to not spill coffee, or not coffee, I don't drink coffee, but you know, not spill tea or hot chocolate over it or damage it in some way. I feel really, really nervy about taking that out somewhere in public, which you might find ridiculous, but when you have like some nice things and you don't necessarily have the income to replace them or repair them, like you just look after them really, really well. Whereas my phone comes with me everywhere anyway, and my iPad, look at the state of that cover. It's had stickers on it that I've taken off and I haven't cleaned it. Like, this is an iPad from 2016, I think. It's given me good service, so like if anything happened to it, I wouldn't be hugely devastated. And also it's a cheaper thing to replace than the laptop. So that's my decision around that. So it's got to be work I can do on my phone and on my iPad. If you have any suggestions for the future, if you are someone who works in a coffee shop or just outside the home, even though you're self-employed and stuff, let me know your thoughts and your ideas. I'm going to come up with some for today, but if you have some extra ones and some better ones, then that's all good to me. So we're going to be figuring out some stuff based around that. And then I thought I'd have my lunch as well. I thought you guys could pay for my tea or my hot chocolate and my lunch as well. Feels a bit cheeky, but you know, we've been together for this 2 weeks, so I figure that actually it would be nice to just almost like have a little wee celebration at the end there. And then I thought I'll come back and I'm going to respond to a few sort of questions and comments and things that have come up over the course of these videos that I haven't necessarily been able to reply to in much detail or respond to in much detail. So I thought I would do that and attempt some sort of review of this entire process and what it's been like for me. And then you can let me know in the comments what it's been like for you. So how about that for our final day together? I mean, it's not, I'm gonna do vlogs in the future, just not as many. Right, we are going to attempt some top-down filming here so that you can see my little calculations. We'll ignore that page for now. So this is my buy me a coffee money. So it's not the total amount that people have like gifted me, but this is what I get after the like transaction fees and things from the website. So it's £131.23. So I've budgeted £12 to £15 for the lunch out today. I figure just one drink and a sandwich or something would be absolutely fine. Maybe a packet of crisps if I'm feeling that I can get that in under the £15. And then the two garden bits that I want to get is some seed potatoes that I'm already a bit behind with, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to find some today and that I should be able to get as many as I need for about £15. And then I need some cucumber seeds, and they tend to be really expensive per packet, so I've put £5 down there, and I'm hoping that kind of out of this £20 really, I'm hoping that I'll get at least a couple of bags of seed potatoes and a couple of packets of cucumber seeds, but we'll see how we go there. It can be a little bit flexible, but that's what I'm kind of aiming for here. So there's a bit kind of almost like for me to literally buy a coffee or tea or something, a little bit for the garden, because I can film all of this for my other channel, so it is kind of connected in there. And then I'm doing my like desk makeover vlog at some point, and these I think are the final bits that I need to get. So I'm eyeing up desk pads, either a leather one or a felt woolen one, keyboard shelf that just like sits over your keyboard and has like all little bits and pieces in there, because I find that my desk gets covered in annoying little bits and pieces, so I thought that would be good. And then this is my absolute must, I need to get a mouse that works. So I want a Logitech Bluetooth Pebble mouse, and they come in at around £22, I think. The only thing I've got to do there is check, because my Mac is incredibly old and I just need to check the specs and that it will be compatible with my computer. So that's kind of the idea here. And then £34.23 left, plus anything that's left from here if I come in under budget on anything, that can go towards either the vlogging kit that I've got my eye on, or a Bluetooth microphone for when I'm recording in the allotment and the garden, because I always get all like the leads tangled up and stuff, and things get pulled out as it catches on a chair or a table or something as I'm walking past. So something kind of basically equipment wise, kit wise, for the rest of it, but that's kind of to be decided. So yeah, I mean, I find this, I mean, I've said before, I'm hugely thankful. I don't want to bang on about it because that just gets irritating, but to be able to, you know, treat myself to something, contribute possibly some things towards the gardening channel, and then also some things towards this channel, and also towards my workspace that will enable me to make that junk room that you see me in, you know, all the time in these vlogs, to start making that junk room more of an office. It's just, it's a huge privilege to receive this, and yeah, I'm very, very grateful. So moving on then, we'll kind of ignore that. That was just a little bit of a calculation that I did up there. So I spent £26 on my dad's Christmas present, like I said, and then what's left after that is £29.95, so we may as well say £30. So what I'm thinking is about £20 on my mum's Christmas present, and then £10 towards that joint account debt. Now when I call it that, remember it's something that I'm choosing to pay back. I don't actually have to, and there's no deadline on it, because, you know, it's my money, our money. It's, you know, I needed to get a few bits for that particular month, for I think it was February that I bought the stuff in. So that then reduces what I need to pay back into that account down to 65, and I'll just carry that into next month, and maybe I could take 10 or 20 off next month, and so on and so forth, until that has gone. It will definitely be gone in June when I get the money through from the exam marking, but you know, if I can clear it beforehand, then that's fantastic. So this is not consumer debt, it is not any kind of debt to a bank, it is just money that I have taken from my savings that I want to pay back, which is why I'm referring to it as debt. So yeah, that's my little financial plan for this final day in March. I'm done. I'm finally done. So it's been a mixed bag on all fronts. There were some good things about working in a cafe and some stuff that wasn't so great. I think it's more that I picked the wrong cafe to go into, but I'll tell you more about that when I get back. And shopping wise, partially successful there as well. I got my mum's birthday presents, Christmas presents, isn't it? And I got a few garden bits, but not all of them. Again, we'll fill you in on the details when we get back. Yeah, so I'm just taking the long way home, trying to get my walking up to at least a mile today. And I'll meet you back at Sparrows End HQ. So now I am back. Let's have a little bit of a show and tell and a little bit of a catch up about what I thought of working in a cafe. So, as I said on my walk back, everything has been a mixed bag, but let's start with the working in a cafe, and let's talk about a positive. So a positive was I did actually manage to get some work done. I got day 11, I think it must be, day 11 edited. I also really liked my sandwich that I had. If you could see it in the film, I had a toasted steak and cheese sandwich, and that was actually really delicious. I also thought I got a load of food for, so it came to £11 something, so about £12. I actually thought I got quite a lot of food for that, so I was quite pleased. I think it's because when I eat out at lunchtime, it's often in a pub, and that tends to be more expensive than cafe food and sandwiches and stuff like that. So that was really impressive. I have a gallon of hot chocolate sloshing around in my belly at the moment because so I went to Costa, as you probably could see on the side of the enormous like soup bowl of hot chocolate that I had, and I'm not used to their sizes, and I couldn't see, they had a sign for cold drinks, but I couldn't see the menu for hot drinks. It was really strange. And so I just said to her, oh, I'll just have a large hot chocolate. And, you know, when this thing was kind of presented to me, I was just like, wow, that's a lot. And then I thought, I think I can vaguely remember ordering something like that by accident many years ago. When I was out with someone, not realising quite how large their large hot chocolate was. It was just ridiculous. So, but it was fine. It all came in under budget. I've brought the crisps back with me because, so crisps are, what do you call them in the US? I think you call them potato chips or just chips or something. And as you probably know from watching anything British on the TV and in films, chips are something else to us. They are cooked hot potato. So crisps. I brought the packet of those back with me because I just couldn't manage them, because I think I was so full from drinking this hot chocolate. I did have the blueberry muffin, and that was a bit so-so. So I had a nice sandwich. I thought it was budget friendly, and I did manage to get some work done. However, that was kind of where the positives ended. I think if I was to sum it up, I don't think Costa is the right place for me. I'm not even convinced a cafe is the right place for me. I'm going to try some places that are basically pubs, because I hang out in pubs more than cafes anyway, and I think I would find the whole environment a lot more comfortable. And also you quite often get little booths and little corners that you can tuck yourself into. It felt like I was in the middle of a canteen, and I kind of guess I was in a way. And you know, the seats were uncomfortable once you'd sat in them for longer than about 15 minutes. And it was so noisy. Oh my God, the level of noise. Because it was so noisy, I had my earphones in because I was editing the video, and for me it wasn't pleasant noise, it was disruptive noise, and there was loads and loads of banging and clattering and the noise of the coffee machines, and it wasn't for me. That's not an environment that I felt comfortable in. and I can be a little bit sensitive towards loud noises. I wouldn't say excessively so, but certainly to a point where I don't feel comfortable in that environment. So that was not the place for me at all. So yes, I think there is some potential. I liked the being out of the house part. I think that mentally did me the world of good. Just different environment, something different to look at. Yeah, I think I just need to find my place, find somewhere that I feel more comfortable. Okay, so my mum lives in a cottage in the countryside, and I've got her a little cottage garden mix of seeds. And then also, when I was round hers last thing, I was going through her seeds, and she doesn't grow loads and loads of things every year, so she doesn't need like a massive storage tin for them or anything, and she had them in just some like old box that didn't look very nice. So I got her this little seed tin because that's probably about the right size for the amount of seeds that she needs. So there we are. So there's that. The box was a £5. This tin was £5, and the seeds I think were £1.75. So there's that. And then these were the socks. They're just from Asda. It's nothing exciting. £8 for 7 pairs of socks. They're just kind of quite, I think she liked them because they're quite pretty. They're quite old-fashioned looking socks, some of them, but her wish is my command. She liked them, so she has them. And then I couldn't find any sewing stuff, but I did get her this patchwork notebook, which I think she will really like because of the design on the cover. And you know, who doesn't need lots of notebooks? And then lastly, I've got her a book. It's the latest Leanne Moriarty one. You might think that that's not very much money to spend on my mum, but to be honest, you don't know my mum. You don't know me. You don't know what kind of things we buy each other for Christmas and stuff. And like I said, I have a very sensible family when it comes to expectations around gift giving. Now, when it comes to what I'm going to do for the rest of the day, I can't investigate the Logitech mouse yet because I need to get up into the office and turn on my Mac and look at the it's the About My Mac window thing. It will tell me basically about the operating system and which one it is, and not which one it is, which version it is, and then I'll be able to tell whether the mouse is compatible. But my other half is upstairs today in the office, and he's currently listening to a meeting and having to like write up the minutes of it and various other things. So I'm leaving him to it. I've already interrupted him once. So I'm going to investigate the other two things, the desk pad and the keyboard shelf, and I've set myself a budget of £20 each for those. But obviously if one comes in a bit cheaper, then I can spend a little bit more on the other one. So it'd be really good to order those today so that I can then do the desk makeover in April and kind of turn that into a video for us. So again, those of you that have bought me a coffee, you can see the difference that it's made to my workspace. And I also want my desk made over so that I have a really lovely workspace in April. So I will investigate those two things, come up with some options. Again, I might need to pop up and measure some things, so I might not get that fully completed yet. We'll do that, and then I might carry on with some video editing. So I've done day 11. We now know that somebody's been an idiot and miscalculated her days. So I've actually only got yesterday's vlog segments to do, and then if I add on today's, I might just do one big final video that's days 11, 12 and 13 and put that out on Monday, so that this challenge stays relatively contained in March and doesn't spill too far into April. So here we are then, we're at the end of the challenge, and I'm here with a stemless wine glass because, you know, otherwise I just break them. We've made it to the end. It was a day shorter than I had thought it was going to be, but didn't really matter in the end. I have kind of edited all the footage. I've even started on the footage from this morning. The main takeaway, no, not the main takeaway, just one of the takeaways from doing this is definitely that if I do it again, I'll probably do it for a shorter time period, and I'll have slightly bigger gaps between the videos so that I don't get quite as muddled with what's happening, and I'm able to keep much better records of the money that's coming in and exactly how much it is and exactly what I do with it. But considering, I mean, I thought this whole challenge, and I certainly thought the vlogging side of things was going to be much scrappier than it turned out to be. And some real positives have come from it. The first one being, I actually quite like vlogging. I never used to, because I think I used to overcomplicate it. But this time I kept it really simple. And because of the time pressure, I found that I wasn't not so much over editing, but I just wasn't editing as much as usual. I, for the most part, haven't bothered cutting out that many of the ums and ands and bits where I'm pausing. And then there's also been bits that I've left in where I've gone and looked something up on screen, or I've gone and done something. I've just left the camera rolling and haven't edited that out, because I think in a way it makes it feel almost like more like a live thing. And for you guys, you get the sense of you're there in real time with me a lot of the time. So actually the not editing out all of those bits, unless they're particularly prevalent. There are times when I sit there thinking you've just said about 6 times in 30 seconds, so I have swept a few of them away. But generally I've left stuff alone. But also what's happened as well is, because I've been producing and putting out videos so quickly, some of the editing has actually got a lot faster, in that I can do the thing, you know, where I speed up the footage, I remove the original audio, I put music over the top of it, I adjust the volume of the music to try and get it to sort of match the volume of the speech that's just gone before and that comes after it. All of that I do a lot quicker now, because I've had to do it so many times, and I've got a little bit quicker at setting things up, and I've stopped worrying too much about the sort of the angles that I get. And then other things used to bother me when I first sort of restarted the channel again. I felt, I think, right, ashamed and embarrassed are too strong a words for this, but I am very aware that my house and my office, my backdrop, doesn't look remotely like anybody else's who's vlogging. I haven't got like a really nice setup and a really nice background or anything yet. I have got a lot of mess and junk in my house, and everything's in a state of flux where certain things are being worked on, and you know, we've got to have some floorboards replaced, so there's a section of the dining room that's not going to get sorted out, which means the stuff that belongs in the dining room sits in another room for the time being. And it just feels that the environment that I'm in isn't like one that you would necessarily want to show people or show off to people. But I've kind of got over that, because I just, there's a point at which I don't care, and I don't want it to stop me from doing things. And also I am sure other people's houses look just as trash as mine do at times. And there's a lot to be said for just showing up with the way things are. And yeah, sometimes when I'm filming on my kitchen worktops, I give them a little bit of a clean beforehand, because I don't want them to look, you know, truly awful, and you know, things like that. But generally speaking, I've tried to keep things as natural as I can, bearing in mind that there sort of isn't anything natural about vlogging and about picking up the camera and things like that. So yeah, I've tried to go for something that's as real as possible, whilst also appreciating that you can only ever present a small fraction of your reality to other people. I've just lowered that camera down. I don't know what it was doing so high up. I was like, it's really low down in the frame. Anyway, other good things have been, well, just your company and your comments have been just lovely. They've been supportive, sometimes they've been funny. A lot of the time there's been a lot of oh, I'm like that, or I do that, or oh, you think about that the way I do, and stuff like that. And it hasn't been just sort of packed full of people telling me that I should do things differently, or that I'm, you know, doing things wrong and I should do it like this instead. It's just been a lot of people sort of nodding and agreeing, or, you know, making a few suggestions, but not in any way telling me that I'm crap at what I'm doing and I shouldn't be doing it and I should go back to teaching and I should do X, Y, and Z, when actually, clearly I don't want to do that, or I'd have done it by now. I need to have more of my wine. I've also learned that there is a balance to be had between busy work and like little jobs and things like that, and then more focused work on larger projects and larger tasks. And what I think I was doing was I was valuing one more than the other, and then sometimes it was, you know, the little things I was valuing, and sometimes it was the big things. And I think what I realised, especially because of your feedback that you were giving me, is that, and actually my friend Shelley, I think, said this in my comments, that actually there's nothing wrong with a bit of busy work sometimes. And I agree with that. I was finding that on the days that I was doing all the little bits and pieces, it was clearing a lot of stuff out of the way, and it was clearing a lot of stuff out of my head, so that what I was left with were the bigger tasks that I could then focus on. If I'd carried on doing that busy work kind of all week, then that would have been too much, that would have been too far, and I wouldn't have been contributing anything substantial to my businesses. You know, there was one main thing that you'll notice I never got round to. I never got round to that Etsy stuff. I did some research, I checked out a new business tool, I became an affiliate of that business tool, but did I actually get to the point of creating anything and uploading it? No, I didn't. But I did do some prep work. And yeah, everything's just about balance, isn't it? And I think when this is another thing that I've come to realize as well over the years. This is just from, you know, from professional life as well as self-employed life, that when we think about balance, we always seem to think that we have to have things balanced the whole time, when actually life isn't like that. And there are times when you need to and want to do more of one thing and less of the other. And so things are out of balance, but they're still part of that seesaw. And sometimes they'll be even, and sometimes they'll be uneven, and then they'll be even again, and sometimes they're uneven. And I think the problem that we have is we're always striving for even. I think particularly this affects women who have children. If you are a mum, you're constantly trying to even out time spent with your kids and time at work or on your career, or you just on yourself. And actually, yeah, sometimes even, but then other times maybe you do have to spend a bit more time on your work or your career, your professional life, or on yourself. And it does tip the balance out of favour of your children. But then there'll be other times when it goes like that, and actually there's your balance, when it tips back to your kids and it's less to do with this thing over here. And as long as it is kind of going like that and it's back and forth, that's where the balance is. The balance is not always this, where over the course of a week 50% of my time is on work and 50% of the time is on my kids. It's going to go like that. And as long as when you look at that, you know, overall picture of your life, the overall picture maybe of a year or of 6 months, or if you want to go smaller, maybe kind of 2 or 3 months, as long as it's starting to even out when you look at that big picture, that's fine. But on a day-to-day basis, I'm really going for it now, on a day-to-day basis, this balance, this evenness isn't always possible. And I don't even know that that's reality. I don't think that's how you can get through life, quite frankly. So I think that is something that this exercise and just life in general has taught me, is to stop seeking balance in the sense of evenness, and to stop seeking balance within very short time frames. So stop trying to seek balance within a day and sometimes stop trying to seek balance like within a week, because actually if you take a bigger look, a bigger picture, a wider scope, then you'll achieve the balance, even though sometimes things are like this and then other times they're like that. So yeah, there we go, 17 minutes of absolute nonsense at the end of what is already going to be an extremely long video. I'm going to chuck it out there because I want this, you know, kind of challenge thing wrapped up so it doesn't feed too much into April, and I'll make it a long video and I'm going to whack it full of ads as well and just try and maximize the monies that I can get. So my apologies for that if you've looked at it and thought, oh, flipping heck, woman, you've really just put ads in every like 10 minutes. Forgive me. I've tried not to do that too much with the other ones, but yeah, and it'll, let's just see how much of a financial reward in terms of the ad revenue I can get from this little set of videos that I've put out. That will be very interesting. I want to thank you very, very much for your company, for stopping by and watching the videos, because if you don't do that, then I do not get the ad revenue at all. And if you don't do that, then I don't get the feeling of value from the videos. Thank you so much for those of you that have left comments. I would love, if you've made it to the end, then you are one of, you're one of my people, aren't you, if you've made it this far. It would be lovely to hear in the comments what you've got from these videos, from this type of video, because it just helps to guide me in the future when I'm deciding what videos to make, and also what kind of things to include, and so on and so forth. So let me know what you've got from it. That would be really helpful. But thank you to anyone who has commented. I know that lots of people just don't comment. I mean, I'm like that. I am obsessed with some YouTubers. I'm not saying anyone's obsessed with me, by the way. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I am a huge fan of like a lot of YouTubers. I love this woman called Cecilia who lives in Svalbard, close to the North Pole, and I love everything that she puts out, but I don't think I've commented once, and yet she's one of my favourite YouTubers. So I know that there'll be people that watch the videos and that really enjoy them and don't necessarily comment. So I see you, I know you're there. But also huge thanks to the people that have commented. Massive thanks to the people that have bought me a coffee and kind of contributed to my well-being, to my office space, to my, you know, ability to buy the things that I need to give me some content for future videos. All of that, the buy me a coffee money will never be part of my regular income that pays my bills. It's always going to be directed in some way into, you know, my working life and the things that you see on both of my channels. So a huge thank you for that. But yes, onwards and upwards. I hope you had a fantastic March and I hope everything went well for you. And I am really, really excited to come back again in April in a slightly different form. There'll probably be, I reckon, at least one vlog, maybe two. And I'm also working on, don't forget, I'm working on some sort of something online where we can, those of us that are, you know, in these vlogs that are interested in each other's experiences and things, I'm working on a thing where we can like meet up online and I can share written information, I can share photos, I can share extra videos and things like that. And to just say, there'll be a whole load of that that's completely free and is just going to be about community and communication. And then I will put a paywall in there for stuff that is kind of in addition. And I will clarify what all of that is when we get to it. I'm hoping to kind of work on this in April and get all of that put together. And then hopefully come May time, we'll be able to do a little bit of socializing online together. So anyway, cheers. I'll see you properly in April.